Okay, welcome to another IELTS speaking video practice by Johnny IELTS. Okay, so we have two students now from class IELTS 40 because two more students cannot attend the class today. So, Mr. and Mr. Young, are you ready for your practice?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Let's go to part 1 now, and we at topic number 27. A moment, don't worry about that. I can change that. I can probably change the microphone to crispy microphone, and then probably there won't be any noise from Mr. Say again, Mr. Can you say it?
Hi.
It's fine. It's fine. Crispy is on. Don't worry about it. Crispy is on. See? That's why the noise being cancelled. The noise being cancelled, I mean, more or less. I mean, it's not perfect, but it will do. Okay. Well, let me just move this one back here. So, we should be doing 27 now. So, Mr. Did you like your primary school?
Actually, to be honest, I think that my primary school when I was in Street 6 was kind of a place that contained a lot of memories from my childhood.
Was a what? Was a what? Say again?
Like
I can't quite get what you are trying to say. Can you do it clearly, please? Was a memory that I could what? Okay, try again, Mister. Now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, do it.
Well, to be honest, it was a long time ago. It was like 5 or 6 years ago, so I just cannot really remember too many things about my childhood in primary school.
How
But
children in primary schools.
But there were some fond memories which I still remembered until today. I remember playing hide and seek or chuck four with my friends, and I think that we were enjoying our time at primary school that day.
I see. How about you, Young? Did you like your primary school?
Not really, because at that time I'm being bullied a lot. So yeah, so I don't really like it. Just sometimes remember that I want to go back there. Just sometimes, not much.
I see. Right, so Tường, tell me, what was your favorite subject at primary schools?
I think as a child, especially as a primary schooler, I tended to like some subjects that related to art or music. I just didn't know why because at that period of time, I was really interested in colors, pictures, and some notes and melody. So I was really interested in some art and music classes in primary school.
I see. But tell me, did you like those subjects, or do you think the schools need improving or something?
Pardon? Like what
Like, do you think that your primary schools need improving, or those subjects are okay, are fine?
Uh, I think that we have the new and updated school curriculums for all the subjects, and I think that each of the subjects are needed to be updated and also improved day by day for students to follow, and also like
Yes.
they're getting better for the students to apply it and also study all the new things from those subjects I mentioned before.
Right, I see. So did you dislike, what did you dislike most about your primary school, and what did you like the most?
So at that time, I like most is I have I have a lot of free times. I spend on day with uh playing with my toys,
Toys.
play with my toys, and can reading comics or books. And the most thing I don't want at that
The most
time,
thing là sao? The most thing là sao? The most cộng tính từ. The most
oh,
plus adjective, okay? The most what?
uh, um, the
The
most
thing I like the most,
oh
okay?
no
The thing I like the most.
uh the dislike thing I the most is learning literature because it's hard at that time for me.
Okay.
Literature.
You mean literature was hard for you at that time?
Yeah, I'm bad at this. So
I see. So how about you, Mr. What did you dislike most about your primary school?
Well, to be honest, that I think most of the students in primary school, like such as me and also my friends, we really didn't like the homework. Because the homework that day was like way too difficult, and not surprisingly, like homework can be ranked first as children's most hated list. And also we didn't like some kinds of food in my primary school. Actually, that I hated fish the most, but there was always fish on my lunch meal at primary school. So that's why I really didn't enjoy my lunch meal at primary school back in those days.
I see. Alright, so Yung, tell me, how did you travel to your primary schools? Did you, were someone bringing you there, or someone took you there, or you travel there by bicycle or something like that?
so just at the time in the first years, usually my brother will took me there. Will took me to school. But after that, do it by myself. By I ride bicycle there to go to school. Yeah,
Okay, you're right. You rode a bicycle. You
yeah, I
rode a
rode
bicycle to go to.
to school.
I see. But tell me, how were your teachers in your primary schools, you? Were they helpful? Were they nice to you? Were they mean? Or were they, there can be so many adjectives to use to describe them, eh?
So my primary school's teacher, they are actually were really nice for me. As every time they really help me in my study. Also, they still help me until now sometimes, and they really remember me because I'm the like quiet kid in the class, quiet appearance child in the class. So they sometimes remember me.
Không có kid kid nha, trời ơi.
Dạ nhớ.
Ừ. A child, okay. All right. So, Mr. How were the teachers in your primary schools?
Well, to be honest, that I've forgotten their name or what. Oh no, from grade 1 to grade 3, like for teachers in grade 1 to grade 3, I've forgotten their name and what they looked like, and so it gets so confusing. But I still remember my teachers in grade 4 and grade 5 because both of them were so nice to me. They treated me like their children, and they treated every student in my class fairly. And also their classes and their subjects, the way they teach, the way they teach and the teaching method was so interesting. So I immersed myself into their classes really much. So yeah, and I also enjoyed telling stories to my primary teachers too.
I see. So it seems like you did enjoy your primary school years a lot. All right, let's move on to part 2 and part 3 now, shall we? So we did a lot in the recent our previous classes, but I feel like there's still things that can be improved. Okay, let's try 34. Okay, 34 is describe a person's home that you visited, that you liked, but you would not want to live in. Miêu tả một cái nhà của một người nào đó mà các bạn đã viếng thăm, mà các bạn thích, nhưng mà các bạn lại không muốn sống trong đó. You should say where is, cái nhà nằm đâu vậy, what it is like, nhà nó như thế nào, why you visited, tại sao mình lại viếng thăm nó, and explain why you would not want to live there. Nhưng mà cái quan trọng là tại sao mình lại không muốn sống ở cái chỗ đó. And you also have some part 3 questions here about visiting others, về cái chuyện thăm viếng người khác. Like, do Vietnamese people like to visit others' homes? Những người Việt có thích là đi thăm viếng nhà cửa hoặc là tổ ấm của những người khác không? What do Vietnamese people do when they visit others? Người Việt làm gì khi họ viếng thăm những người khác? Is it common to bring gifts when visiting others? Có thông thường cái chuyện mà đem quà đến khi viếng thăm người khác có thông thường hay không? Tại sao? Alright, try this. Okay, so you have some time to think now. Okay, Mr. Young, please describe a person's home that you visited, that you like, but would not want to live in. Careful, past tense, cẩn thận mấy cái quá khứ.
So that is my friend's home. That I usually went there when I meet my friends. He invited me to his home. So it's like a really like medium house, and everything is nice. Facilities there is actually really good. It's helped me a lot, and sometimes it's really convenient for me to do something, that do a lot of things. And so, but there's one thing in that house I don't really like it because his house I'm really near the place that they usually sell, like I can say food. So because of that food, it has smoke. It's sometimes going to his house, and the smoke is actually not really good for my health. And
you mean the food? You mean the food? It's really smoky, right? And they fry the food a lot, isn't it? Wasn't it?
Yes. So that's why I don't really like it. And
I see. Be careful with the verbs, okay? Cẩn thận mấy động từ nha. Alright, so Tường, please, your turn to describe a person's home you visited that you liked, but you would not want to live in.
Oh.
Okay, Tường ơi, your turn. You need to turn on your microphone too. And
I
start
forgot.
speaking. Okay.
So my parents took me to my grandmother's new house like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was a new house. It was just built like when I was in grade 5 or grade 4. I don't remember. So that house was not like really large. It only has 2 floors with 2 bedrooms. And for me, because I was afraid of goats, dark, and
You mean you were afraid
anything,
of ghosts, the darkness, and
and yeah, and anything like related to uh, to something like that, like something that will be in the horror movies. I was afraid of all of those things back then. So my grandmother's house was just an ideal place for me um, to visit it. But the only reason why I didn't like to stay there for a long time or to live in was because my grandmother's house was located in a really boring area because there was nothing apart from my grandmother's house in that area, and
wow,
we
sounds
just
like
had.
a very it sounds like it's going to be very eerie in the dark, you know. When the
Yeah.
sun's down, it's going to be very eerie, nghe thấy ghê lắm. Sau khi mặt trời
Yeah,
lặn.
because the surroundings over there was just like trees, plants, and like it looks like a haunted house. So
Of
I was
course, it
afraid
looked like a
to.
haunted house. Of course, it would look like a haunted house.
Yeah, so I was afraid to stay there at night. It was just like, because in the morning it was kind of peaceful, but at night it turned out to be like really scary. So that's the reason why I didn't want to stay there at night. I just visited in the morning and then went back home.
I see. Whew. Wow, that's such a weird house. Anyway, let's go to part 3 of visiting others. So, Young, please. Do Vietnamese people like to visit others' homes? What do you think?
I think no, because actually every time if we visit, we have to if if they are familiar, we need to give gift, but we are not really familiar or just friends. We have to have a gift every time we came to visit in our homes, like from the relationship, so they have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's and Vietnamese actually really lazy, so we don't want to go to visit other homes
I don't think
somehow.
so. Basically, it depends on the region, I think, and basically people from the north and the central, I think they really enjoy visiting others. But maybe in the south, not not that many. Maybe I'm wrong though, you know. It
Yeah, I
depends
know.
on like each family, I think. Nó còn tùy gia đình nha. So, Miss Tường, what do you think? Do Vietnamese people like to visit others' homes?
Well, like the way I see it, people in the countryside, like they tend to visit their relatives and neighbors more frequently than those who living in cities. And because I think that like
Yes.
the, the people that live in rural area, they would have the sense of community and social connection with their relatives and neighbors more than cities people, because in the urban we just visit someone if they invite and ask we come over, or we visit a friend's house, but not really frequently. We tend to go hang outside and go to some malls or um, restaurants to hang out more than to visit each other's house. Yeah.
I see. Mr. Yuan, what do Vietnamese people do when they visit others?
So we usually bring gift, maybe some things like food, or just a little gift or flowers. Not really much, but sometimes flowers, or maybe um, beers, or maybe wine, like white wine or fine wine. And so every time we do it, we bring something to each other house like that. I think so.
Mm-hmm. I see. I see. But don't you think that people visit others for reasons, Like, for example, if teachers visit their students' home, there must be a good reason for that, don't you think?
Hmm.
Cô giáo,
So
thầy giáo đến
actually,
thăm nhà. Rồi có
so
lý do vì
actually,
sao chứ?
if teacher come to other house,
There
from
must be
other
a
house,
reason, yeah,
a
surely.
student house, so usually that I've learned is some teacher will come to their student house for saying about their bad mark student for their parent, if their parent can come to visit them.
To
I
visit
think,
them, yeah.
yeah. Or maybe friends come to each other house just
Mhm.
to talkative or hang out a little bit. Yeah. Or maybe
I
lovers, so
see.
they will spend their time to spend each other's time. Yeah, I think so.
I see. But some people, they go to visit others just because they were invited for a party.
Yeah,
Think about those things as well. Invite for parties, or maybe they just come there, you know, to gossip about other people's life because it's boring.
I know.
Nhiều khi thấy chán quá ở nhà đi qua nhà bạn nó tám chuyện chẳng hạn. So what do you think, Tường? What do Vietnamese people do when they visit others? Phải cố gắng hơn nha, Dương. You need to practice more. Try to include more stories, something like that, to make your answer a bit more engaging, longer, and better. Yeah. Say hello.
Oh,
Your
well,
turn.
I think that people usually bring something when they visit others' house, and the things that they bring over, I think it will really depend on the occasion of the visit. Like, as for special events or special occasions, it will be crucial when to prepare um, a, like get a gift such as flowers, fruits, chocolate, or like home decor items to bring over. It would be like a respect to the homeowners. But for regular visits, like when we are invited over because of parties or just like a hangout, I believe that food, like I believe that food, or they can come like empty-handed. And I think that
Empty-handed. Don't come empty-handed, because um, when you come empty-handed, people might mistake it for, that you don't really care about them, sometimes. Đừng có đến mà không có đem gì hết á. Yeah, nó sẽ làm người ta tưởng là mình không có care, không quan tâm lắm. But actually some people is okay with that, because just you coming, it's enough. Right, very good. So, Tường, is it common to bring gifts when visiting others then?
Actually, I'm not sure about this because, like, as for the other countries, especially the Western countries, I think it's compulsory as a habit of like bringing gifts over because it show like your respect and your kindness to the people that invite you over. But in Vietnam, it's actually depends on really like a lot of elements like the events, the occasions, and your relationship with the homeowners too. But I think that we should like build a habit of like bringing some things when you are invited to someone's house, because I think this is a really good things, and it doesn't cost much to buy something before you visit someone's house.
Okay, I see. Right, what do you think, you?
So,
What, the
I
same
think
question? Yeah, what do you think about that?
so. I think actually bringing common drinks together to each other is actually a really good habit, because it show that you cares about them, you cares about them, and you want to give gift to each other when you come to each other house, like thank you. For a thank you, and it's actually
As a
really good.
thank, danh từ
Yeah, as a
thank.
thank.
As
Sorry,
a thank.
as a thanks.
Okay, what else then?
As a thanks, and if you really give gift, they will respect each other more.
They will respect each other more, I see. Well, okay, let's come to another topic now and see how well you do it. All right, let's try 35 now. Describe an interesting conversation that you had with someone. Miêu tả một cái cuộc đàm thoại thú vị mà các bạn đã có với ai đó, một cái cuộc trò chuyện thú vị mà bạn đã từng có với ai đó. You should say who you spoke with. Bạn nói với ai vậy? Where you were, lúc bạn ở đâu? What the conversation was about. Cái cuộc đàm thoại đó về gì? Explain why you think it was interesting. Giải thích tại sao bạn lại nghĩ cuộc đàm thoại đó là thú vị. And in part 3 of interesting conversation, what's the most interesting conversation? Interesting, âm đầu nha. What's the most interesting conversation you've ever had? Cái cuộc đàm thoại thú vị nhất từ trước giờ bạn đã từng có là cuộc đàm thoại gì vậy? Try not to talk about the same thing at part 2, okay? Part 2 is only one interesting conversation, but part 3, the first question here asks you the most interesting. It's different. Cái part 2 này chỉ là một mẫu chuyện mà thú vị thôi. Một cuộc đàm thoại thú vị thôi. Trong một đống cuộc đàm thoại thì đây là một cuộc đàm thoại thú vị thôi. Còn cái này là cuộc đàm thoại thú vị nhất mình đã từng có. So it's different. Try to talk about something else, okay? So, in your opinion, what makes another person interesting to talk to? Trong nhận định cá nhân của các bạn, điều gì làm cho một cái người thú vị để mà mình nói chuyện người ta? Think about their appearance, think about their interests, những cái mà mình ta hứng thú chẳng hạn. Think about the way, how can I say, the person must be interesting themselves, right? Cái người cũng phải có cái tính cách thú vị nữa cơ. Or maybe you think about it, you know. Alright, is it difficult to start a conversation with someone you don't know? Why? Có khó để mà bắt chuyện với một cái người mà bạn không hề biết người đó là ai không? Tại sao? Alright, you have some time to think about. Alright, Miss Tường, you first. Please describe an interesting conversation you had with someone.
Well, I remember it was like 3 or 4 months ago when I was buying some stuff, like some things at
Không có
convenience.
stuff nha, không có stuff cho my else nha. When I was buying items or grocery or something like that.
Oh, yeah. So when I was buying some items in the convenience store near my flat, near my apartment, and that I bumped into my old friend, like an old friend from secondary school. And like it turned out that we live in the same street, and like we lived in the same apartment, but just not the same block. So after that, we went to grab some coffee and told each other how life was going after we graduated from secondary school. And I actually we were just talking about some random things, but nothing really specific or particular. But I think that conversation would be really interesting because it was just my feeling that like meeting like coming across with one of your old friends that you used to be really close to when back in those old days. So
You
um,
can spend all day. Yeah.
yeah, and we told each other how life was going, how which school we're going to now, and um, do we have any new friends, and everything's about life. And yeah, after that, she gave me her phone number and told me that we could contact in some dates. Yeah.
Okay, good. Right. Your turn, Young. Please describe an interesting conversation you had with someone.
I usually spoke with my best friend. Um, for for every for every interesting conversation, we usually speak ill of my classmate or someone outside, maybe on the road, and and so we usually in the playground of the school. So we usually sit there talking to each other about backbite, about
About
some of
what?
my class backbite về sổ thao lưng.
Oh, it's okay. Backfight. Is that what he was trying to say?
Oh, no, it's backbite.
Backbite. You mean this one?
Yeah. Nhưng mà nó viết liền với nhau luôn.
Cắn trộm sau lưng hả?
Yeah. So
Backbite. Okay. We call it bad mouth. To bad mouth each other. Nói xấu nhau.
Actually, it's really nice because we usually gossip about that.
We will usually what? We will usually what?
Gossip.
Gossip about it. Okay, I
Gossip
heard something else, you know.
I know.
I know. I thought you talked about something that you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Gossip about it. It's actually interesting because I can say everything that I want. I can judge anyone that I want and share it with my friends. We have a sympathy about that. Oh,
We had the same
yeah.
what?
Sympathy. Nói chung là đồng cảm á.
We are sympathetic. We have the same. Let's say we on the same page about that. Có một cách nói we were on the same page, you know, about that. Trong cùng một trang tức là hiểu nhau á, trang cùng tình cảnh á. We on the same page about it.
We're on the same page about it.
All right, so let's go to part 3 now. So Young, what's the most interesting conversation you have ever had?
So the most interesting conversation is
You
about
ever had, yeah.
sex education.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, because I'm learning about that. Not actually learn. I have a research about that.
You have research about it. Okay, great.
So that is the most and really interesting conversation I have in my life. The most. I'm sure about that. And it's actually really good. I can teach everyone about sex education.
Yes.
About sexual and yeah. Thôi.
Okay, so how about you, Tương? What was the most interesting conversation you've ever had?
Well, I think that the person I felt most interesting to have a conversation with was a 7-year-old boy when I met in the KFC like several months ago. I don't remember. So I was sitting at the table to waiting for my food, for my order, and he came to me first because like I think that he was waiting for his parents. So he came to me first and started the conversation with like something about space, like something about planets, about stars. Yeah, something about like that. Uh, to be honest, I was like I was not really interested in spades, so it was a little bit boring at first because I didn't care about those things and I didn't know what to say to that boy since I didn't have any
Okay.
information or knowledge about spades and something like that. But like gradually it turned out to be kind of fascinating to see or to know the viewpoints and the opinions about space from a 7-year-old boy. I think it was really thrilling because a 7-year-old boy can know those things about space and his thoughts, his feelings, his
His thought, his
knowledge
feeling,
about.
and his mindset was actually way better than a lot of other people twice his age, right?
Yeah, true.
Nhiều
And
người
that
gấp
boy,
đôi tuổi đó cũng đâu có biết đâu.
yeah,
Gấp 3 tuổi đó cũng đâu biết đâu.
yeah. So he helped me to like open a new world to some things that I think I would never search or never like to go deeper in more. Yeah, so I think it's really good to had just a short conversation with that boy.
Okay. Right. Okay. So Young, in your opinion, what makes another person interesting to talk to?
I think it's the topic, maybe the topic or the way they talk. Yeah, maybe if they if the topic is lame, actually lame and it's boring, but the way they talk is interesting. Maybe the way to interesting to talk to. Maybe the topic is actually really hard and interesting, so they can. It's the best way to talk to. I think so. And maybe sometimes is how they care about that topic or they care about you if they want to talk to you. Is if they want to talk to you, we'll have a better way to talk to each other,
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation, have a long conversation.
I see. Right. Okay. Tell me. So, is it difficult to start a conversation with someone you don't know? You?
Uh, actually, for me, it's actually really hard because um, um, I don't talk to people really much. So it's actually really hard for me to start a conversation with someone I don't know, someone strange. I'm just usually talk with someone online. And I think if other people, like introvert, they will, no, they're hard to start a conversation. But if the extrovert, they may be yes, because yeah, they may be like start a conversation easily. They have confidence to start a conversation.
Mm-hmm. To start a conversation, I see. Okay, good. So, Tường, what do you think? What makes another person interesting to talk to?
For me, I think that I would find a person interesting to talk to when we have the same mindsets and like same hobbies, same interests. I would find him or her really interesting because we can share anything about that topic together, or that they would have a different mindset as mine, but the mindsets would make me really appreciate of it, or I will really appreciate the knowledge or the information that that person give to me during our conversations. I would find that um, someone's that has someone that talks about some things that I don't know before, or I would have or I would love to know more about it, or someone that I can talk, or that and can share my uh, share my things in my life too, especially the things that I cannot ask for any other advices. So yep, I think that that those types of people that I would find interesting to talk to.
I see. Right, but do you think it's difficult to start a conversation with someone you don't know? And why?
I think it really depends on the personalities and the reasons why they have to start a conversation with a stranger. But for me, as an introverted person,
Oh, you're
I
an
would
introvert.
find
I see.
like really hard to start a conversation with a stranger. Like, and when you order food or when you have to ask for the directions on the streets, I usually find it uh, difficult and hard to when you have to ask strangers, because I feel like I would annoy them and I would like interrupt their daily life or something like that.
I see. Okay. Right, so okay, let's move on to the next one, shall we? This is 34 and 35, already done. Okay, so let's try 36 then. Describe a time when you got close to animals. Animals here can be anything, like wild animals or pets. You know, nó có thể là động vật hoang dã hoặc là thú nuôi trong nhà cũng được. Describe a time when you got close to animals. Miêu tả một thời điểm mà bạn đến gần với động vật. You should say where you were, các bạn ở đâu. What the animals were doing, cái con động vật nó làm gì vậy? Who were with you, ai đã ở đó với bạn, and explain what your reaction was, cái phản ứng của bạn như thế nào. And you have part 3 of wild animals. Nói về động vật hoang dã, part 3 này mới nói về động vật hoang dã nè. So, what are the differences between animals in zoos and those in the wild? Có sự khác biệt nào không giữa động vật trong sở thú và những con ở ngoài tự nhiên? Think about if they got health care or not, có được chăm sóc sức khỏe không? Do they have the freedom, có sự tự do không? Do they receive like a lot of visitors? Do they get to you know, be in a community or not? Chúng có được ở trong một cái cộng đồng quần xã hay không? Hay là quần thể hay không? Do they receive all the dangers? Do they have to be careful of getting killed in the wild compared to in the zoo? Something like that. Is there any differences in their lifespan? Lifespan, you know, cái vòng đời của nó. Think about a lot of those things. All right, next one. Why should the staff in the zoos teach the public about animals? Tại sao nhân viên trong sở thú nên dạy cho quần chúng về các loài động vật? Think about animal conservation, you know. Nhớ không? Conservation là bảo tồn những cái con mà nó sống, còn preservation là bảo tồn những cái không sống. Ví dụ như là tòa nhà, lịch sử, văn hóa là không sống nè. Plants and animal là sống nè. So animal conservation, think about how to take better care of animals, because a lot of human food are actually toxic or dangerous to animals, you know. Ví dụ như là con gì? Nếu mà cho động vật ăn sô cô la nó chết á. Chó và mèo cho ăn sô cô la hoặc là bơ là nó chết á. Trái bơ á, hoặc là sô cô la là nó chết á. Feeding chocolates to cats and dogs are actually dangerous, you know. Or avocado is actually dangerous too. Okay, so think about the care, like they like think about the danger that animals can pose to humans if they are approached in the wrong way. Không có ai mà đi đến con gấu Bắc Cực xong mà ôm nó đó. Nó không có gọi là dễ thương giống trong phim, trong phim ảnh đâu nha. Nobody approach like polar bears and hug them just like in movies, in cartoons, you know. You should never do that. It's so dangerous. Why are people keen on feeding those animals even though, you know, it's forbidden to do so? Mặc dù là bị cấm nha, nhưng mà tại sao con người ta vẫn cứ rất là khoái cho động vật trong sở thú ăn? What do you think? Có vấn đề tâm lý ở chuyện này không? Is there a psychology behind this? How can the increase of the human population influence wild animals. Cái sự gia tăng về quần thể dân số con người ảnh hưởng gì đến động vật hoang dã? This is the last question, which is the most difficult. You have to think, okay? Now, some time to think now. All right, time to do it, Young. Describe a time when you got close to animals. I think animals here means like wild animals. That's why part 3 is about wild animals, you think?
Okay, so actually, at that time, I was exercise. It's a long time ago. So I exercise at a park. So I accidentally meet a monkey, a small monkey. I remember. I still remember. And at that time, the monkey is actually lost from the island in the middle of the lake.
Interesting. Monkey.
There's a bridge from my place to that island, and it's actually rarely to see the monkey from the island.
I rarely see, không có rarely to see. I rarely see.
I rarely see the monkey cross the
I think
bridge.
this one is like in the past, so I rarely saw that monkey.
God. I only saw that monkey cross the bridge and get lost in my
And
place.
got lost in the middle of the road or something like that.
Get lost in the middle of the park, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So at that time, I just a little bit close to it. Because if I get closer, I maybe...
If I got closer.
I got closer, I maybe can be bitten, be bite by it. So I'm just a little bit close.
You might be bitten, but you might be bitten by it, right?
Yeah, maybe bitten by the monkey. And so at that time, I'm actually really surprised and quite interesting to see that monkey. Because that's the first time I saw a real monkey in the middle of the morning. Yeah. In the middle of park in the morning. Yeah. That's all.
I see. All right. So, Tường, your turn. Please describe a time when you got close to animals.
Like, is it a wild animal or?
I think it's a wild animal because part 3 is about wild animals, but I'm not so sure because when in the real exam, when they say you got close to animals, I think they mean any kind of animals you can mention. But part 3, when they ask about wild animals, then that is different. I think you can describe both. Cái nào cũng được, Thầy nghĩ như vậy. Thầy nghĩ là cái nào cũng được, I think.
So, if for normal animals, when I was 5 or 6 years old, my parents took me to my father's friend's house to had a visit. So he had lots of animals such as pets. There was a lot of kinds of animals such as birds, dogs, and cats, which are really common as a pets, right? Turtles, birds, rabbits, a lot of types of birds that I didn't even know about. But what impressed me the most was the parrot. I was paid too much attention on the parrots because of its colors, of its shape, and of its appearance. So I asked my father's friends if I could come closer to look to have a clear look with the parrots, and he said yes, but he had to take me to the cage because I was
He had to take me to the
parrot's cage.
Okay, there you go.
Because I think that I was too small to control my action, and it will be some damage, like some danger. But I don't think that a parrot could cause any damage to me, I guess. But yeah,
a parrot can actually damage your cords, your electrical cords, you know. They bite things too.
Oh.
Nó cắn dây em ghê lắm nha, đừng đùa.
So I think that the reasons why my father's friends had to take me to have a close look to the parrots. And he told me that the parrots can repeat my words, and he made an example for me. Like he said, "Hello, my name is Vivi," and immediately the parrots repeated his words, and I was so shocked. I was so excited to see that. So after that, I was just playing around the parrot's cage, but with the control of my father's friends until I had to go back home. But I was too like remember the parrots that I've seen in my father's friend's house. It was so much fascinating to see a
I
parrot in
was
real life.
fascinated too. I was so much fascinated. Cảm giác của
I
mình mà,
was
it's your feeling, right? I was so fascinated to fascinated to what?
like for the first time I ever seen a parrot in real life. Yeah, I've just seen it in movies, in pictures before.
Okay. Good. Now, so let's go to part 3 now. Young, please. So what are the differences between animals in zoos and those in the wild then?
I think those in the wild maybe like
In the wild.
in the wild is actually quite more angry and more wild than in the zoo, because in the zoo they just need to stay there and eat, to let everybody, like the visitors, to look at them or maybe take a picture with them. And those in wild, they have to survive day by day, keep finding food, and so they have really, really wild behavior. And their habits is different too from the wild, from the animal in the zoo. They just need to stay there. They need to find a place to sleep or find a place to eat. But though in the wild, they have to find a way to sleep and eat to survive in the wild. I think
I
so.
see. To survive in the wild, I see. There must be other things there. Mr. Do you think so? What is the differences? What are the differences between animals in zoos and those in the wild? And beside from the food supply and then other things that Mr. Young has told us. Hello, Mr.
I just
Microphone's
forgot
on. You
my
always
mic.
forgot. Okay, you don't have to turn off your microphone, you know. You don't have to, remember. Okay. Now, so what are the differences between animals in zoos and those in the wild? And
Well, I think that the first things is about their homes. Like zoo animals, I think they usually live in small cages. And I remember that there are some open area zoos too, but they are not as large as an animal will need. And I think that most of the animals feel depressed and cut off from their natural life because they can actually become more lazy, and they live like and even live less due to the closed off life, because they don't have enough space, they don't have enough area to like they don't have enough freedom and liberty to do anything. They just live in the small cages day by day, and they don't have enough space for them to be an animal. So that's the first thing. And the second things about the second difference is that about their diet and food. So I think that in the wild, animals have to like fight to survive and fight to find food for themselves, so that they will like know how to take care. They will like have better instincts to take care of
Yeah,
themselves.
talking about instinct, I think if wild animals are born inside the zoos, they might
Hmm.
not retain that natural instinct to hunt. You know, you agree with
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Because
because
now
like,
they're yeah, because their environment now there's nothing to hunt anyway.
hmm,
But don't you think they will lose that after a while?
I'm not really sure about this. Like, I think that in the zoo, like animal zoos are like being fed at a strict time, and they maybe forget how to be an animals and how to hunt for food, how to fight to survive or something like that. They just lie down all day and they barely move around to do anything. I visit I've visited zoos sometimes before, and I see that barely any kinds of animals just move around or just stand in one place. Even the lions and the tigers too, they just lie down all day or sleep all day, and they will be fed at a strict time, so they barely have to do anything. It's just like a decoration. It's just like, yeah,
A decoration, a
decoration,
decoration.
a decoration.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So you need to try better. You said that you read a lot of books. You have a lot of ideas. You should try to use those ideas now. So Young, why should the staff in the zoos teach the public about animals then?
I think if the staff they don't teach the public about animals, uh, we will sometimes accidentally kill them. Yeah, accidentally kill them in some times. I don't know how to nurture them, or maybe save them in the outside.
In the outside là sao?
Nghĩa là ở ngoài đường, nói chung là ở ngoài thôi.
From the outside.
From the outside, or maybe in the wild,
From the outside. Yeah.
or from the wild. You don't know how to save them. Sometimes finding rarely animals and try to catch them or maybe accidentally kill them in the wild. And so that's how the staff have to teach the public about animals. And
Ngắn quá nha, cảm thấy nó hơi bị ngắn quá. I feel a bit too short now. So Mr. Can you do that?
Uh,
Why should the staff in the zoos teach the public about animals then? What do you think?
well, I think that in some cases, those animals are becoming close to extinct, and I believe it's quite important to care for every living creature on our planet, not just about cats and dogs, but all kinds of animals. And so we should learn more about them. And if these animals are close to extinct, maybe it's crucial to raise awareness on what caused the extinction, because it maybe because natural, right? About the climate, about
The
the
climate.
natural
Climate.
habitats or
Climate.
climate,
Climate. Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's man caused because human will cause the extinction of the animals, some rare animals, so that we should know about their living life or their uh, importance, so that we can have like we can take care take good care about them. The second things
Take
is
good care
that
of them. Take good care of them.
good
To
care
take
of
good care
them.
of them. To take good care of them.
And the second thing is that I think that some staffs in the zoos would teach us about how to recognize the animals, because some animals might be friendly and others might be dangerous, or even like like dangerous to humans. So we should know how to recognize and rely on some of these animals. and this might help us when we travel, or we can take, like, we can protect ourselves from the dangerous animals. I think so.
Okay, I see. Right, that's a bit better, you see. Now, Young, why are people keen on feeding zoos animals even though it's forbidden to do so? You know, it's dangerous, right?
Yes.
Có nhiều người họ bị té vô, họ bị thương tật vì cái vụ mà cho thú ăn đó nha. You know, some people they got injured, they have to go to hospital because they fed elephants, you know. Đừng cho voi ăn mía các thứ xong rồi hút vô. Trời ơi.
So because there's psychology.
What psychology? Okay, explain
psychology,
that then.
That we like watching something for another people eating, or sometimes animal eating. So they usually keen on feeding those animals. And every time we give some things to the animal, then they eat it. It's like they and eat it like the animal usually eat them, like they really love it. So we love to see how they eat, and when they eat, they will give me some like cares. Well, they eat, like if panda eating pampers, we love to see it. So to another animal too. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's what you think. Okay. Right, but okay, so Young, how can the increase of the human population influence wild animals?
So if the humans increase, we need much more house to build. So
Much more what? Much more what?
House. Nhà.
You mean much more space to build what? Phải có không gian chứ gì? Much more space to...
nhà thôi, không muốn nhà. Much
I
more
think accommodation is a better word.
Much more accommodation.
No, much more space. Đúng ra phải đúng ra theo cái logic phải là cần nhiều không gian hơn để xây dựng. Hoặc là để cho nuôi nó. Much more space to keep the animal, right? Or something like that. Much more space. Or you can say that humans try to expand their cities and buildings, something like that. Nó có cái vấn đề logic ở đây. Okay, let's try again. Do it again, please. How can the increase of a human population influence wild animals?
So because the population increase, humans need much more space to build their house.
To build their houses and buildings, right?
Building their houses and buildings, or maybe works, and that have a big influence to the
influence on, to have a big influence on. Trời ơi, cấu trúc này mà. Have a big influence on
wild animal habitats. Yeah. And it's really harm them because they don't have any they don't have place to live anymore, or maybe live anymore. And because of human increase, so we need more food, so we have to destroy the wild habitats, or rarely habitats. So it's actually harm them too because they don't have a place to rest, a place to live.
Live hoài. To live, xuống giọng.
To live.
Nhắc bao nhiêu lần rồi. To live, xuống giọng. Have, live gì, xuống giọng. To live, or to have, you know.
To live, food to eat.
Okay. All right, Tường, can you answer that one? How can the increase of human population influence wild animals then?
Well, I think that according to the data and the recent history, that the effect of the population increase on wild human is negative, a little bit negative. Like as our population grows, we tend to cut more forests and rearrange more land into farmland, and it will cause deforestation. So we could so that we could feed our population and to make accommodation for the human. So our
Industry.
industry, development and construction, we build more factories, we build more community buildings, and that will destroy totally the living habitats of animals because we cause pollution, toxic chemicals, and pesticides, so that um, so that each year that we will always hear that many hundreds or even thousands of animal species that even get extinct or maybe
Become
come
extinct,
close.
became extinct. Nó theo một cái cấu trúc luôn á. Became extinct.
That became extinct, and but we still have people that who usually raise awareness and try to advocate for protecting our wildlife, but they're just like the minority group of people. I think that the majority people are still selfish and they only focus on their own financial development, and they they rarely care about the environment or even the animals. So they just care about themselves. They don't pay too much attention on the danger of the animals, so that many animals are become extinct due to um, things that man caused for their living or their natural habitats.
I see. Okay, what do you think about deforestation? Deforestation by human activities and actually cause a lot of flooding. And animals will have to flood to cities because now there are no longer any place for them to hide. What do you think about that, Yung? Deforestation and then leading to animal have to go to, human houses to for food and shelter and something like that. What do you think about that?
So because deforestation will
Deforestation.
Deforestation will cost food, and so that they cannot find a way to have a shelter because their house has been
Their
chopped up,
homes, tổ ấm
their
của chúng.
home have been cut off. Yeah. And if they don't find place to live, they will
To live nữa, lại live nữa.
live mà hãy
To
nghĩa là hành động.
To live.
They will be drowning or maybe die in some days soon. Yeah. They will be drowning soon if they don't find a place to live.
To live. Okay, good. Now, okay, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Okay, let's try 37. Describe a time you made a promise to someone. Promise. Okay, miêu tả một cái thời điểm mà các bạn đã hứa ai đó cái gì đó. You should say what the promise was. Lời hứa là hứa gì vậy? To whom you made it. Bạn đã làm cái lời hứa đó với ai? Thực hiện lời hứa với ai? Các bạn đã hứa với ai á? Whether it was easy or difficult to keep. Liệu có dễ hay khó để giữ cái lời hứa đó không? Explain why you made it. Tại sao bạn lại hứa như vậy? And then part 3 of promise. What kind of promises do people often make? Con người ta thường có những loại lời hứa như thế nào? Think about promises to finish homework, to go to the gym, to finish the work on time, promise to come home to their children on time, promise to take people to the zoo, promise to love someone forever, something like that, you know. There's a lot of different kind of promises. Think about those things. Now, do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children? Các bậc cha mẹ Việt Nam có hứa hẹn trẻ nhỏ của họ nhiều không? Cái này là hơi bị nhiều đó. They of course they promise a lot, but they never keep anyway. It's hard to keep. Just to calm their children down, you know, especially when the children is making a fuss, or, you know, making a big fuss, making a big mess, or basically throw a tantrum. Lăng răng vạ, throw a tantrum. They often promise something, you know, but of course the children remember those. Now, do children keep their promises? Trẻ nhỏ có giữ lời hứa của chúng không? Why do some people fail to keep their promises? Tại sao một số người lại thất bại trong chuyện giữ lời hứa? Why do some people promise a lot? Tại sao một số người lại hứa rất nhiều, hứa thật nhiều? You know. Alright. Think about this one. Time to do it. Miss Tương, please describe a time you made a promise to someone.
Well, I'm not a person who usually make any promises to anyone because I'm usually not sure if I can do it or not. But several weeks ago, I promised to my cousin that if he did well on his high school entrance exam, that I would buy him anything that he likes. And actually, that it was kind of hard to keep it because due to my financial ability, that I don't have much money to afford for anything that he likes. But actually, it was kind of an motivation for him to support him on his exam. So even though that is hard to keep it, but I still save some of my money to buy him things that he likes. And he also and the reasons why I made it I promised to my cousin was because I wanted to support him. I wanted to boost his mood and try to motivate him as well as I can so that he can do well in his exam last week.
I see. Your turn, Young.
I just well a promise when I was 10. I promised with my brother to have a chess battle, but I haven't done it yet because I don't have really much time to play it because a chess play is about 30 minutes to 1 hour, so I don't really have much time at a time, and it's actually really hard for me because at a time I have to learn a lot about how we test, yeah, and so I have to pay it back until now for him. And right now I'm usually playing chess with my brother to keep that promise.
Do you think your brother is a good chess player?
No. Actually,
what kind of chess do you play?
The war. Chơi thường thì chơi cờ vua.
All right. So I'm also a chess player too, but it has been a while, I think. Now, let's go to part 3 of promise. So, Mr. Young, please, what kinds of promises do people often make then?
So, they usually often make about love promise. Like, I will love you forever. Maybe like that. Just a simple from that to from their parents to their children, like I will buy you some toys if you do something good, and after that, if they have that or not, I don't know. Maybe about promise about a grade. If you learn this good, they will have a nice like good mark. Yeah, and
Okay. On good marks. Okay, so Tường, what do you think? Do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children?
Yeah, of course. I think that Vietnamese parents promise to their children a lot, and the most common one might be to like reward their child for an excellent performance or other accomplishments. Like for instance, if their children completes all their homework, they will be allowed to play computer games, or they're allowed to go out to play. And or when their parents promise to buy their children's new things such as toy or keeping a pet or going to the amusement park at the weekend. And I think like making promises like these may be just a good or a convenient way to comfort them or to stop them being a little bit tantrum.
Okay, bit of a tantrum, yes. So, do children keep their promises?
so they actually really are really good they are really good in keeping their secret, keeping their promise. As every time, like if you keep them about promise about some things like uh, toys or something that they want, they will remember it for about a week or more. So they
Mm-hmm.
actually keep it really good, and it sometimes annoy the adults or sometimes the elders. So they have to accept that promise. Uh, yeah, and if if they keep their promise, they will keep until they done it. They will and they will keep until they can done it. So they
Until they can
actually
done it là sao?
they là
Until they can do it.
they can do it
Until they can do it. All right, good.
until
Right, so Miss Tường, please, why do some people fail to keep their promises then?
I think that there are a lot of reasons why people usually break their promises, but I think the biggest reasons that like we usually don't take our promises seriously enough in today's world. Like we're living in a world where lying has become widely accepted as means to achieve like goals and avoid inconvenience. And we lie in our daily life like a habit. Like we make promises to get past an awkward situation, and
Mm-hmm.
we usually immediately forget about them after. So another common reason for people to go back on their word is that their feelings and their circumstances, the situations, or the conditions have changed over time. And usually in some love relationship, and they just don't feel the same level of commitment that they did when they made the promises. So that they usually break the promises with their lover or with their girlfriend, with their wife, their husband sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I see. All right. So, why do some people promise a lot then?
so they can actually if they keep promise a lot, so they can they can do it in sometimes in the future, and they just keep it. Yeah, they have actually do it because in some case they cannot do it. Like you promise to alive after surgeries, maybe. So if they could promise a lot to just maybe encourage somebody to do something, just a simple promise to do some things in the future. I think so.
Okay, Tường, what do you think? Why some people promise a lot then? Besides from what has been discussed about. Like, do you think people promise a lot because it's their personality to do so, you know? Một số người rất là thích hứa hẹn luôn. Nhưng mà họ không bao giờ muốn giữ lời hứa cả. Some people, they just promise a lot but they never intend to keep those promises. What do you think? Why?
I think there's so many reasons why people promise to each other a lot, but maybe because people just want to, like, they want to solve the problems. They want to have the most simple solution for the problem. So they promise that they will not do it again. They would do this later, or they will solve it later, something like that. But right after that, they immediately forget about it. Or maybe some people will promise to buy this one, or to do anything, because they just want to show off. They want people to know that they can afford anything, they can do anything. They're not afraid or frightened of anything in this world. So they promise that they will, like, do this thing, they will buy this thing for anyone. But maybe some people promise just because they're just a habit. Like, the personality causes the habit of them for promise to everyone, but hardly can keep the promise as they said before. Yes, and some of the person that we've met in real life a lot, and we can easily recognize if anyone, like, if someone make the true promise, or they just want to fake it. I think so.
Right. I think so too. Alright, so good. I think it's good practice for today. We should end it here, I think. Okay, that's the end of my videos. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get notified about my new uploads, okay? You can also press follow my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi nha. Các bạn hãy nhấn vào like, chia sẻ video này bạn bè các bạn. Nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh YouTube mình và nút cái chuông kế bên cạnh cái đăng ký kênh đó, để mà các bạn có thể được thông báo về những video mới nha. Các bạn cũng có thể nhấn vào nút theo dõi Facebook mình, nhưng nhớ đừng kết bạn Facebook mình nha. Thank you and see you. Bye.